Welcome everyone. It is fantastic to see you all here this evening and more joining. Thank you for joining this session at the end of the day. Lovely to see familiar faces, but also some new people here at this monthly Connect session, which we run from Learning for Sustainability Scotland in partnership with the General Teaching Council for Scotland. And I see some students joining. Today we have a particular focus on learning for sustainability opportunities in initial teacher education. So welcome all. What we're aiming to do today, as usual, it's the 21st actually of these sessions. Hard to believe they've been going that many months, but this is our 21st session. We will be looking to begin with at just setting the scene as usual, but the focus today is to have a look at a journey towards embedding learning for sustainability across an initial teacher education setting. So we're focusing on starting teachers, and as usual, one of our aims really is to hear from you and for you to hear from each other. So we will be later on in the session having an opportunity to share your own ideas and experiences, to have a discussion about where you see learning for sustainability in relation to initial teacher education. Next slide, please, Kirsten. This session will definitely be finished by 5:15, but we have a lot to fit into the time. I'm just doing, as you can see, an introduction at the moment, the setting the scene. What is learning for sustainability? Where does it sit in Scotland? And then going to hand over to Suzanne Aldous from General Teaching Council for Scotland, who is going to look at where this sits in relation to the professional standards. Then we're going to hear from one of the initial teacher education institutions. William Quirk who's a teaching fellow in the Strathclyde Institute of Education, is going to just share what it looks like at Strathclyde. And we hope that these two inputs will be a stimulus for your group conversations. So we'll be moving then into small group conversations, and then there's an opportunity at the end to share what we've all been talking about together before we draw things to a close at 5:15. So that's how this next hour and a quarter is going to look. So I should have mentioned right at the start, my name is Betsy King from Learning for Sustainability Scotland, which is a network right across Scotland, which is hosted within the University of Edinburgh. We're actually a pansectoral network, so our members are from schools, colleges, universities, and also community groups right across Scotland. Next slide, Kirsten. And our focus is on learning for sustainability. We're also part of a global network of centres, regional centres of expertise, and learning for sustainability, or education for sustainable development, as it's known globally, is actually a global priority in education. This is the UNESCO definition of it. What is it about? It's something that empowers with the knowledge, skills, values, attitudes and behaviours to live in a way that is good for the environment, economy and society. And it's essentially, this is for everyone. So it's a lifelong learning endeavour. Next slide, Kirsten. In Scotland, we have a very particular approach, which I think comes from looking at it in the round, looking at what it means in terms of heart, hand and head, which is our values, our skills, and then our knowledge, looking at those in the round. And there is a very particular definition of this 3 to 18 education. It's a cross-curricular approach. It goes through everything. It's about building a socially just, sustainable and equitable society. And it's about a whole setting approach. So it's responsibility of everyone. Essentially, though, at the heart of it, it is about learning experiences which are really transformative. Next slide, Kirsten. This is something which has been in Scottish education for quite a long time. But Kirsten, the next slide hasn't, that's great. But in 2023, a new action plan was launched in Scotland, which is called Target 2030. You may want to have a look at this in a bit more detail. And it was a refresh of what had gone before. Essentially, learning for sustainability is an entitlement of all learners in Scotland. It's the responsibility of all teachers in Scotland. And Target 2030 was about pushing this forward so that every 3 to 18 place of education becomes a sustainable learning setting by 2030. And the report says what this means. Essentially, it means everything in a setting. It's about every aspect of the learning context, but you might like to think of it in terms of these 4 C's. It's about the ethos of the setting, the culture. It's about the curriculum in the broadest sense, learning, teaching, assessment, pedagogy. It's about the school buildings, the school grounds, but also the way the school operates, procurement, uses resources, the digital spaces it has. And it's also about the way the setting reaches out into the community, and again, it's community in the broadest sense. So thinking about this as something which is both local, regional and global community reaching out.